Hey everyone. This is going to be a short lecture because I want you to do some reading and sort of going over some information on your own first before I do a lot of commentary on it. Okay. So this week, looking at our due dates and assignments sheet, okay, we have completed all of this. All right. You should be, as of today, submitting your have submitted your essay one. Now I have 100 and no, I have about 85 essays to grade if everyone turned in their essay, which means that if you did not, then you still have time. You have time to get your essay in until I get to the very last person essay to grade. So that might take me until Wednesday to be grading some of the essays. If I'm still grading on Wednesday and you turn your essay in, then you're fine. You won't receive any late points until you get a 0. Once there's a 0 in the grade book, then it's late. You can still turn it in, but you'll only get 70 points. Okay. So let's make sure that we get that essay, that if the essay's not turning in right now as you're watching this, let's try to get it done as soon as possible and get it submitted so that way you don't chance losing 30 points just because it's late. All right. Now, we're going to go ahead and get started talking about essay number 2. Essay number 2 is a compare and contrast essay. Okay. For this essay, you will essentially be taking two things, and you'll be comparing them, talking about how they're similar, and contrasting them, and discussing how they are, different, makes them unique, right, in the same essay. So, like for example, let's look at these two civil rights leaders. We have Booker T. Washington, and we have W.B. Du Bois. They are often compared and contrasted. For their time period, they're kind of like the way Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. are compared and contrasted during the 60s, okay? So if you wrote an essay about these two people, all right, essentially your essay would be arranged like this, okay? You would talk about how, they're very similar, that they were both African Americans. They both wanted more rights, education, and equality for Blacks. And, they were educators. Both of them worked at schools. And so, but then you would also spend time in your essay discussing, though, how they were fundamentally different. And you would discuss how, like, W.B. Du Bois, he was more about how Blacks during his time should immediately demand all of the same societal rights and societal places as white people. And so he was all about how, now that Black people were free from slavery, they should immediately be trying to get running for office in the government. They should be creating businesses. They should be leaders in their community. Okay. While Booker T. Washington was more about sort of walking on eggshells. He felt that with the freeing of the slaves, okay, that Black people coming out of slavery should still take it slow, okay, and that he felt that even though the government had freed Black people, that it was still going to take a while for the citizens to be comfortable, all right, coexisting on equal terms with Black people. And so he preached more about how Black people should be thankful for whatever jobs they can get. You shouldn't demand too much. He did a lot of trying to talk to white people and saying, would you please, like there's this classic example he used about essentially Black people are on a small little skiff, a small little boat, like a paddle boat, and white people are on this really big tanker, and that Black people should be asking for help, and that the white people should lower down their ropes to help the now freed Black people. Okay, and so W.B. Du Bois did not agree with that type of mentality. He felt that freedom means freedom and equality means equality. Okay, so there was a lot of debate between the types of things that they taught. W. Du Bois taught in universities, and he was more about students getting these like intellectual degrees and intellectual training. And Booker T. Washington opened trade schools. He opened up schools that taught Black people skills like being a blacksmith and being a laborer and being a carpenter. Okay. So if I were to write an essay, I would discuss both of these influential people, and I would discuss how they were, similar. All right. But then spend a lot of time discussing how they were obviously different in their perspectives. Okay. So what you're going to do this week in preparation for getting ready for essay number 2 is that you need to do some educating of yourself. So you'll go to lessons, and then you'll go down to lesson 3, compare and contrast. And you will go to chapter 3, click on it. You don't need to read all of chapter 3 because not all of chapter 3 is about comparison and contrast. 3.1 is about narration. You don't need to read that. So you'll need to go to page 6. Page 6 is comparison and contrast. Read this. Okay. Do some exercises. All right. Touch your toes. You'll read all of this. Okay. And I don't think it's on page 7. Let's see. Yep. Nope. Just page 6. All you got to do is read page 6. Okay. Click here on videos. Here are some TED Talks about compare and contrast essays or compare and contrast topics. I didn't post those. That came with the development of this page by this school. Okay, so apparently whoever first created this course, they felt that these are good TED Talks to watch. Okay, so and the way you find these out, I hope I'm sharing my screen. I'm not sharing my screen. I hate that. That's so annoying. All right, I'm gonna go back. I apologize. Okay, I'm in lessons. There's lessons. Go down to chapter 3, right here. Go to 6, right there. And then read this page. Read page 6. Okay. Sorry, I didn't share my screen the first time. Then go back to the lesson and then click on this. Videos, articles to use as samples. Okay, which brings you to this page. Like I said, these are not, there's not links here. So I think you can just copy this. And then go to your web browser. And put it in. Yeah, and there it is. You just copy and paste it and you can watch it. Okay. All right. And then you can watch this video, compare, contrast essays, watch video. Okay, watch it. Then scroll all the way down. All the way down. And here you'll see All the Rage, chapter 3. Okay. You need to click on this. And you need to read this. Okay. This came from a book that I read this summer. Okay. Read all 7 pages. I'm going to be discussing this next week, discussing what is the comparison and contrast that are made in this chapter. Okay. So after you read all that, and then after you have watched the compare and contrast 4-minute video, and you watched some of these TED Talks, and you read page 6 of chapter 3, then you should have a pretty good idea of what compare and contrast essays are. Okay. And next week, let's see, I will be going over the all the rage, comparison, contrast ideas. Okay. And so that way it'll make more sense. All right. But I mean, you're already going to be picking your topic next week. So start thinking about that. What is something that you like to compare and contrast? That is, and I'll go and emphasize, that's not like simple. Like, I'm going to compare and contrast the weather of Washington State and Maine. That's not very deep. Okay, that's not very interesting. Okay. So I'll get more into topics next week. You, though, spend most of the time reading. Read page 6 of chapter 3, watch some of those TED Talks, watch that video, and read that chapter excerpt from All the Rage. Okay? And email me if you have any questions. I will be working on your essays. It might take me 2 weeks to get everyone's essays completed. Just depends on how fast I move through 85 essays. Okay? All righty. Y'all take it easy. I will see you sometime.